going on, guys? It's J Mass, and I'm back again with another dope New England adventure. So guys, today's video is going to be a pretty quick one. There's really not too much to see, but nonetheless, I wanted to come and document this place because we got some abandoned ruins that not too many people know about. There's not a lot of information about these online, and you know I like to be one of the first people to document a place, so that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be checking out some abandoned ruins that not too many people really know about. So I'm actually down in Rhode Island today. I'm currently in the city of Cranston, Rhode Island. And if you don't know, Cranston is the second largest city in the state of Rhode Island. And here in Cranston, we got some pretty cool ruins. Now these ruins don't actually have an official name. They're known online as the Cranston Foundry Ruins. And a foundry is essentially a place that works with iron. So at one point, this was an ironworks shop. But that's really about the extent of what we know that this place did. We just know it was a foundry of some sort. Again, we don't know who founded it. We don't know what exactly it produced. We just know it was a foundry. It was also built in 1812, so it dates back to the early 19th century. Again, that's about all we know. We don't even know when this place closed down or anything like that. All we know is that the Cranston Foundry Ruins, right here, were built in 1812 and worked with iron. And again, that's really all I could find. There's not much information about this place online. It's a pretty obscure, little-known spot. And I just like to document places like that. So anyways, without further ado, we're going to be checking out the abandoned Cranston Foundry Ruins here in Cranston, Rhode Island. A pretty obscure, abandoned Rhode Island spot. As always, guys, if you love urban exploration, checking out abandoned sites, and New England history, I'm always doing that on the channel. So feel free to subscribe to the channel. Or you can follow me on Instagram at JMassOfficial. That's at JMassOfficial. But we're going to get right into it and check out the Cranston Foundry Ruins, built in 1812 here in Cranston, Rhode Island. While there's not too much to see, and while I don't know too much history, it's still going to be a fun one to check out. So guys, with that, we're going to get started and explore the Cranston Foundry Ruins here in the city of Cranston, Rhode Island. And you can see directly in front of us, those are the ruins themselves. Looks like it's made out of cobblestone with some sort of mortar or cement holding it all together. Pretty cool set of ruins. And one thing you'll probably notice is that there's a very loud and powerful stream right here. Now this is actually Furnace Hill Brook. And I believe at one point Furnace Hill Brook was the primary source of energy for the Cranston Foundry. Not 100% sure, but based on how close this foundry is built to the brook, that's my assumption. And this really is pretty interesting to see. While there's not too much here, I mean, these are the ruins themselves, it's still a really intriguing glimpse into Rhode Island's early 19th century history. Let's walk up here a bit. One thing I'm kind of surprised about is there's actually quite a bit of people here. This is a very small forested area, and there's like 5 or 6 other people here. So apparently this is a pretty popular spot. So yeah, here's another view of the Cranston Foundry Ruins. Really interesting. You can see it's mostly made out of cobblestone. A lot of it's loose, but it does look like there's a lot of mortar and cement keeping it together. And you can sort of make out the shape of what this once looked like. You can see there's a couple of these little pillars. I think those were all windows at one point. So my guess, my educated guess, is that these were windows or maybe iron bars of some sort. There was probably a, you know, a roof up there or a ceiling. So I think that what we're seeing right now is one of the walls, one of the side walls that peered out this way towards the rest of the forest and Furnace Hill Brook. So not 100% sure. I couldn't find any pictures of the foundry when it was active, but we can make guesses, and so far it looks pretty cool. All right, so now we're gonna get up close and personal to these ruins. We're on the other side of Furnace Hill Brook. Let's make our way over. So you can see these are one of the pillars of the foundry right here. Get a closer look at that. You can see a lot of cement and mortar holding all this stone together. Kind of cool. That is one thing I love about finding historic ruins like these. Just such a unique piece of architecture and early American design. I just love stuff like that. I really do love finding historic ruins like this. I didn't really think Rhode Island had many, so it was actually cool to find this here in Cranston. But right now we are currently inside of the foundry, or what was once the inside of the foundry. Again, there's obviously not too much in here. So most of what's inside the foundry is just, you know, a lot of vegetation. There's a lot of brush right here, prickers, fallen trees. So unfortunately not too much, but it's still cool to see the outer shell of what this once looked like. A lot of moss has since grown on the foundry itself. And then the other thing that's interesting is it looks like they actually built this foundry almost into a hill, because you can see this hill right here has a lot of loose cobblestone, like sort of a cobblestone wall. So it actually looks like this foundry was sort of built into this hill right here, which is kind of cool to see. Let's head over here. Just gotta mind all these prickers. And of course, Furnace Hill Brook, an absolutely gorgeous brook. I gotta say, the water and the scenery here is pretty beautiful. I really do like this spot. It's actually not a very big forest. Like, this is actually a very small public area, but check that out. All the rushing waters over there. It is a pretty scenic spot. I honestly am pretty intrigued by this wall right here. What I'm thinking is that when this foundry was built and in operation, I think this was their view out into the brook and the forest, and this whole thing was just a solid wall. And if I had to guess, that's probably where they kept a lot of the equipment and machinery. And that's the other thing, I don't really know what they produced here. As I mentioned, this place did open in 1812 as an ironworks, a foundry. But I'm not sure exactly what they built. I saw someone online speculated they might have made cannonballs and potentially other weapons to be used in the War of 1812, but I don't think that's the case. If this was built in 1812, they were a little late for that, so I don't really know, to be honest. I could not find any concrete information on this place. This is kind of cool. You get sort of a glimpse of what the corner would have looked like of this foundry. Interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, there's really not too much to see. We've pretty much seen everything, to be honest, of the Cranston Foundry, but still, like I said, I wanted to document it and show you guys. Just thought it was a cool little place. The last thing I kind of want to give you guys a closer look at is this bridge right here. So I'm not 100% sure if this bridge was built around the time of the foundry, but I believe it was, because there's signage all over this bridge basically saying it's super unstable, super unsafe. You know, there's like no structural integrity. This bridge is basically a ticking time bomb of when it's going to collapse. And you can kind of see over here, there is a lot of that cobblestone we saw at the foundry actually meshed into the construction of this bridge. And of course, a lot of concrete. But I actually have a feeling this bridge was built in conjunction with the foundry. Let's actually head up here. I'll give you guys a better view of the upper portion of the bridge. But I do believe this bridge was built in conjunction with the foundry. I don't know if it was built in 1812 as well, or if it was even built in the early 19th century, but I believe it was. This is the upper portion, and you can see bridge unsafe. Apparently this bridge is very dangerous, and that kind of lends credence to my idea that this is a very old bridge, because this thing is falling apart and crumbling. So I do think this bridge actually dates back to the 1800s, much like the foundry over here. It's kind of cool. There is another bridge over there, though that one's a lot more modern. You can see there's cars going over it, but this one I do believe is a 19th century bridge built in conjunction with the Cranston Foundry. Hey, thank you guys for joining me. I've been J Mass as always, and this has been another dope New England adventure. So today we checked out the Cranston Foundry Ruins here in the city of Cranston, Rhode Island, and I thought it was really interesting. Obviously, it's not the largest site in the world, you know, it's pretty small, not super interactive, but it's still an integral piece of Rhode Island's early history, and I found it fascinating because I love historical ruins like this. I find them really interesting. It's like you're getting a glimpse into the early history of New England, or whatever region you're in. I found it fascinating. As I mentioned, you know, this place was built in 1812 as a foundry, meaning they worked with iron and probably other blacksmithing opportunities. We don't know exactly what they produced here, and we also don't know who built it. We don't know when it closed down, so not a lot of information online. Most of this video I've been speculating on its history, but what we do know is that this place opened up in 1812 on the edge of the beautiful Furnace Hill Brook, which I assume it harnessed as a source of energy and power. But all we have today are these mysterious abandoned ruins here in Cranston. And it's kind of cool checking this out, you know? You're getting a glimpse into New England's early 19th century history, and you don't know too much about it. I still found it fascinating to check out. As I mentioned, I love historical ruins like this. But as always, guys, if you love checking out abandoned sites, urban exploration, and exploring New England, I'm always doing that on the channel. So feel free to subscribe to the channel, because I'm always doing stuff like this, you know, more and more coming. Or you can follow me on Instagram at jmassofficial. That's at jmassofficial. But as always, guys, this was Cranston, Rhode Island, the Cranston Foundry Ruins, built in 1812. Everything else about it, a mystery. I'm unfortunately not going to be using my drone today. The area I'm in is just really small and pretty packed. Also, tons of people are coming in, so I don't want to disturb them. Like, this is a very popular spot, apparently. But yeah, guys, I've been JMass as always, here in Cranston, Rhode Island. Catch you on the next one. See you later.